here in the space with us together in this moment. I may be the one that's standing in the front, but I'm certainly not here alone. I'm here with all of you, and by you simply being in the space, you are resonating in the space and you are having an influence in the space. And so as I thank you, I hope you are thanking yourselves, and I hope you are thanking the people around you. So a moment ago, you got to hear a little bit about sound healing, and I was like, what a great intro. But before I get up to talk about the power of sound and how sound can be used to intentionally shape your life in a way that is enjoyable to you, in a way that you feel like you are in greater harmony with your mind and your reality, right? And I think sometimes that kind of sounds really big, but it's actually quite simplistic in practice, right? So in this, today we're talking about ethos. And the title that I gave for this was Using the Power of Music to Enhance and Expand the Magic in Your Life, right? And so some may have thought, the magic in my life, what does that mean? It means whatever it means to you. You get to determine what magic means to you in your life. And so in that, the style ethos, the root of the ethos in on today is that ethos is the guiding principles and beliefs of oneself and one's ethics that they use or we use to guide how we interact with ourselves and how we interact with others. Plato was of the mindset that music had a direct impact on your ethos. It could be used to enhance or deteriorate your existence, right? And one of the things that Plato is known for saying is that you should only listen to music that do three things, right? That's enhance your intelligence, enhance your self-discipline, and enhance your courage, right? I think that is true, yet I don't think it's that simplistic, because there was the mindset of if it's not doing these three things, you should not have it around you whatsoever at all, right? And then came the space of how are we separating things? And that's actually not what sound is meant to be at all, because sound is meant to be in harmonia, in harmony with everything, and is happening everywhere, all the time, all at once. Right? There is no space of separation. It is the thing that actually connects us to ourselves, connects us to our earth, connects us to the sky, connects us to each other, right? So I wanted to take a moment for us to feel the power of sound healing. Well, it's happening around you all the time. And one of the things we're going to talk about is what does it look like when you shape the music of your life, right? And so let's take this for a moment. Let's use it. So in this was an unexpected sound that came out of nowhere. And for some, it could be a moment of you saying like, whoa, what is that? It surprised me. It startled me. For others, it could be, I didn't even hear it, right? For others, it could be a million other things. But in this, it could be something that says, that has now taken my attention away. But how do I use everything that's happening to create the music of my life in a way that I enjoy? And you heard me say, it's already here. How do we not ignore it? How do we play into it? How do we determine if it's something that is viable? Even if in the space of using it, right, you can choose to throw it away. That in itself is using it. Saying like, I want to act like that was not here, or I want to lean into it and say, why did this happen? How did this make me feel? And what do I want to do about it? And that's what we get the opportunity to do every single day, right? Why has this presented itself to me? How did it make me feel? And how do I want to utilize it, right? But in this, we get two parts. You get the part, because we're always in co-creation, we get the part of happenstance that's just happening to us. And then we get the part where we get to create, because we are creators. Your life is not happenstance. Everything is not just simply happening to you. You are co-creating the music of your life. You get to be the composer, you get to be the conductor, you get to be a part of the full level of the orchestration in that space. And so notice one of the things you've heard me say a couple of times already is, how did it make me feel? right? And as you're in the space of how did it make me feel, I think one thing that's important before you ask that question is how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel in a given moment? And how can I use the sounds and the vibrations that are around me, because that is what sound is, it's vibration, are around me to create a space that's worthwhile to me, that feels good to me, that brings me joy. So I just want to take a moment as we're in a space where life is moving quite rapidly at times, and sometimes we do feel like we're just kind of floating along or even getting pulled along in our way, to say, what does it feel like for just a moment to slow down, take some deep breaths, and be? I know how long this is gonna be, it's on a timer, but you don't know how long it's gonna be, right? So just relax, sit back, and enjoy. And as you go through this experience, I want you to ask yourself, how do I feel, and how do I want to feel? Yeah? Two things. How do I feel, and how do I want to feel? Okay? All right. And if at any point you feel comfortable enough and safe enough, and if you so desire, please feel free to close your eyes as we go through the moment and just let yourself bask in the sound. For a moment, see if you're willing to take away the light, take away the people around you, and just have a moment amongst yourself. if you have closed your eyes, take a moment to begin to feel your senses once again, and you can slowly but surely flutter your eyes open in a way that feels really comfortable to you.
Can't hear you. Pick up the mic, please.
Thank you. It's actually best that you only kind of heard me in that, as to not be too abrupt in having you come back. So I want to be a little participatory for a second. And can someone tell me how long they think that was? How long they think they had a moment? Yeah. 3 minutes? Yeah? Anyone else? 2 minutes? Yeah? Can I get one more person? 5 minutes? Yeah. 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, right? We all were here for the exact same amount of time together at one time, yet our perception of that moment was different for each of the people, right? The exact amount of time that it actually was 3 minutes and 33 seconds. So you were the closest in this, right? What does it look like when we get to determine how long a moment lasts? When we get to determine, is the vibration fast? Is the vibration slow? And in this, you heard me ask you, how did this make me feel as I was going through this? And does anyone want to share? I don't want to stop anyone. If anybody has a burning desire to say, this is how it made me feel in this moment. And it's totally okay if not, okay? Just want to give space. And in that, how do I want to feel? And so I don't know if you noticed I was doing a couple different things through this, right? And one of the things is I actually, towards the end, did a C-scale. A C-scale, which is kind of thought of as a happier scale, right? A happier, brighter scale, right? And in this, I actually stopped on the 7th. And I wondered to myself, someone's wanting this to resolve. Someone in this space is wanting this to resolve. They hear it and they want it to resolve. And I'm just gonna sit on it for a little bit, right? I'm gonna sit on it for a little bit. And then hopefully in that moment of saying, I want it to resolve, but eventually being like, I don't know how long this is gonna go, so let me go ahead and relax into it. Let me go ahead and ease into it, because I don't know what's about to come next. And that's just like life. We don't know what's really about to come next. We don't know how long a moment's really gonna last. And the best that we really can do is say, how do I come into harmony with the vibration that is presenting itself to me in this moment, and then determine how to enjoy it, and then what I want to do with it. Right? Because you may have wanted it to resolve, but in that, if there was someone that was like, I want this to happen, but I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to ease into it. That is the power of choosing. The joyful art of choosing. You get to choose how you want to feel in spaces and in places and in relationships. And I know that can sound like it's complicated, yet we are all creatives, and therefore we are all creators. How are we using the sounds that are around us to be intentional, to play into how we would like to feel? Using music as our muse. Using music as our muse. And so I said it sounds out here, but I'm gonna give it really tangible, right? Really, really tangible. So in this, has anyone ever asked you, hey, what song do you listen to when you're down? What song do you listen to when you want to lift your spirits up, right? And it's a phenomenon that I think we've all acknowledged on some level, right? That it does have a power. It has a power to change how you feel, right? In a moment. What does it look like if you don't just take that moment, but you take a moment, and a moment, and a moment, and a moment, and you start to use intentionality to determine what you want to have around you in your space in a way that feels really good to you. For instance, we are all on Spotify, we're all on Apple Music, we're all on YouTube. I have YouTube Premium, so I gotta shout them out. I love YouTube University. So in this though, there are playlists for R&B, Afro beats. Okay, I'm sounding my own stuff now. Classical, right? Rock, right? But what about if you create a playlist that is my joy? And it's filled all of things that you think bring you joy, right? What is it like if you create a playlist that says my peace? And it's things that bring you piece, the sounds, right? And notice this didn't have words. There was no words here, right? But we'll get to that in just a second. But what does it look like if you create a playlist that says, I need energy? So I put something on like this, right? Because we do. When we go work out, what do? You have a kind of a specific playlist that you think will energize you enough to get you through what it is that you're doing, right? But do we think about, how do I want to feel on my car ride on the way into work, specifically? Not just, I'm gonna put on an audiobook that's just random that I've been listening to, or I'm just gonna put on a random playlist and just let come what comes, right? Or I'm just gonna put on a playlist that someone just recommended to me, right? No, I am intentionally choosing how I want to feel in a space. How I want to start my day, how I want to feel in the afternoon, how I want to feel before I go to bed. And it's not even just that you get to do that with your playlist. That's just a tangible way that you could do it. You get to do that with all of the vibration that's coming at you throughout the day. Because everything around you is vibrating, is making a sound. How are you choosing the music that is around you? How are you choosing the conversations that you're having? How are you choosing the people and the relationships that you have in your space? How are you choosing what sounds in nature that you like to be around? And realizing that you can actually curate every moment of your life. If you are a creative, you are a creator. Create the music, the sound, everything. If I do this, if I open a door, right? If I type on my keys in my office, you ever thought to yourself, how does it make me feel as I'm typing up this email? But not even necessarily, what is it I'm typing in the email, just listening to myself clack on the keys. How does that make me feel? How, right? And what does it look like if you raise your level of awareness of what it is that is happening around you, the sounds, right? It's like a symphony of life. You go anywhere and you're gonna hear a lot of different sounds around you. But how do you create a symphony of your life that speaks to who you are, that speaks to what your beliefs are, that speaks to the person that you say you want to be? A person that leans into the things that you say matter to you. And do you have a reflection of that in your reality that actually matches what you say are your guiding beliefs and your guiding principles and your ethics? Because they're all creating music. What kind of a song do you want to create with your life? And you don't have to be 7 different notes. You can be one note and be a beautiful note. And that's all you actually have to be, is one note to create beauty. Because if you're a note, and I'm a note, and you're a note, and you're a note, we can create music together. You only have to be you to be beautiful. And the beauty about being a human is you're not just one note. You're all 7 of these notes plus a million more. Because you can make sounds with your mouth. You can make sounds with your hands and your feet. You can make sounds with everything that is around you. Not stop. You live your life. In this way, begin to see, if you think of everything around you as music, everything, every conversation, every interaction, everything you touch, is it creating the symphony that you want to listen to? Is it creating the symphony that you said you actually like? Because we're all creating music everywhere we go, all day. How can we use intentionality to raise our awareness? And that awareness then gives us responsibility, because you can only be responsible for what you are aware of, right? And that responsibility then gives you power. Power to change, power to move, power to choose. Choose the sound that you want to make in spaces and in places, and how you want to create impact in being mindful of what vibration you are putting out and what vibration you are accepting in. So before I walk away, I want to take another moment to do this. Because you heard me say that you only have to be one note, yet you can be so many more. And in that one note, you are fully whole. I am whole. I am enough. I am worthy. I am capable of everything that I want to be and receive. I am joy. I am peace. And ultimately, I am love. I have the ability to create the reality that I want to enjoy. I am a creative and I am a creator. I will use intentionality to create spaces and places that bring me joy, knowing that I am worthy, I am whole, and I am enough. I am all that I need to be. How are you using sound to talk to yourself? How are you using sound to retrain your brain, to uplift you, to fulfill you? You heard me say, Plato said that music can have a direct impact on your ethos, your guiding principles, your guiding beliefs. How are you using sound to train those guiding principles and guiding beliefs, knowing that they are malleable? Because before you have a statement that comes out of your mouth, first you have the sound that happens in your mind. How are you speaking to yourself? Your ethos is how you interact with yourself and then others. How are you speaking to yourself? How are you building yourself up? What are you taking in? And is it something that's building you up, or is it something that is deteriorating? Use intentionality and awareness to make the decision of what is happening. How does it make me feel? How do I want to feel? Knowing I am whole, I am at peace, and I am joy, and ultimately, I am love. Am I creating music in my life that reflects the sounds that I say I want to hear? And if you're not, it's okay. This is giving us a new opportunity to tap in, to raise our awareness, and to say, what can I be doing to be the sound that actually can change the world? Because you may hear one sound, but often what happens is there are overtones, right? Which are sounds that are produced above the sound that you hear. And so you never know how your actions, your movement can impact spaces that you don't just see in the moment, but can impact anyone after that. It's important that you ring true to who you are. You only have to be the vibration that is you. That is enough. It's more than enough. It's in a space of full abundance. But what does it look like when I use music as my muse to create a life that brings me inspiration? I hope this brings a new level of awareness and intentionality, and therefore responsibility and empowerment to your life to create a space that brings you pleasure, that brings you peace and brings you passion, and ultimately has an impact on your ethos, raising your intelligence, your self-determination, and your courage to run with fire in a way that feels good to you. Thanks. I'm Andrea Joy.
Where did you learn to do the sound bath? That was so cool.
I told you I love YouTube University, okay? I learned so much from YouTube. That really is where it started. No, that really is where it started. I just started, I kind of one day I did kind of happenstance, ran by a video that had a sound bath in it, and I realized just how relaxing and transformational it was for me, and how you can use sound to reset. Right? And so then I would just watch sound videos if ever I wanted to relax, or if I felt like I needed to come down a little bit, or if I just needed to kind of reset my mood, right? Reset my body, because it introduces a new vibration. And one thing that's really cool, and if you want to come down before you leave and play the sound bowls, I really do not mind, because one thing that's really, really cool about it, you heard me talking about sound as vibration, and you really feel it when you're playing the sound bowls. You actually feel the vibration happening in your hand and in your arm. And so it goes from a space of, oh, it's just like the sound wave vibration, to having that physicality of the vibration that is there to really remind you of its existence kind of immediately in the space. But that's the beauty of sound, is you can always reintroduce a new sound, right? You can always reintroduce, and certain sounds, pitches, certain modes are thought to be able to produce certain emotions, right? You heard me say like a C major scale is thought to be a little bit happier, right? And so minor scales generally kind of are a little bit darker, right? So that's where you use the intentionality of saying, well, if I'm a little bit gloomy, right? If I'm just a little bit gloomy and need to be raised up a little bit, maybe I'm going to listen to things that have a brighter quality, maybe are more in a major key. You don't have to get too complicated with it, but because there's a lot of different modes that you can look at. But in that, I say let your intuition kind of guide you. In that, you notice, how does it make me feel, right? And then just being honest, how do I want to feel, and does it align with that? And being willing to change. And if it doesn't, I can introduce my own sound and create my new vibration in that way. And that's where you get that joyful art of choosing, of whether I have a sound bowl, don't have a sound bowl, I can be the sound bowl, right? Oh, actually, let's do that real quick. So that was, you heard me say, like, even if I don't have a sound bowl, I can be the sound bowl. So I use sound bowls a lot to relax, kind of calm down. If I'm just like upset about something, you heard me talking about an email. Maybe before I send an email, I'll go and like kind of recheck myself, like get myself together like a little bit, right? No, seriously, get myself together a little bit. And then I don't have my bowls with me all the time. And I started to realize like I can just be my bowl and reset my own vibration in any given moment of my choosing. So if y'all are willing, like, can we try that for just maybe like 10 or 15 seconds? Maybe we'll go with a C. That might, I'm trying to think if that maybe is a little bit too low. Can you hum just like this? And just notice what it feels like to just feel yourself vibrating as you hum. And while it may seem small, you are now in a different state than you were before you started humming. You have now just reset yourself. I tell you, life, right? Life stays lifing. Life stays lifing. Yeah.
What was the impetus to using sound or being intentional bringing sound into your life? And just kind of curious how that moment, how that's changed your life going forward.
Yeah, so I would say I am someone who just loves music. You may have heard I'm with Opera Omaha. So I have always really, really, really enjoyed music, right? Y'all, I want y'all not to ignore this. I want you to actually let it be there, acknowledge that it's there, and just lean into it, right? And realize that like it can be there and not even bother you, right? I have a 5-year-old, so I am very, very good at this particular thing. But in that, so I just always like music, and I can't even say that I started in the space of like, I'm getting into music because I think, it's the way to change lives and change minds and all of this, right? Like, it was something that was enjoyable to me. I think somebody asked me if I wanted to join the orchestra, like that's how I started when I was very young. But in this, I will say it's been the last couple of years, actually, shockingly enough, the last couple of years where I went from more of, music can set a scene, right? Music can set a scene where, like, you think of like a movie, right? Like, if you have a romance movie, it's not going to use the same type of music that you might find in a thriller, right? They're going to use different tones, different rhythms to emote different vibes and emotions in that, right? It sets the scene, right? And so that's what I mean by setting the scene of your life. And it was a couple of years ago that I realized that what can happen when I start being really intentional about only having specific types of music around me for specific purposes, right? So, like, for instance, you heard me say, how do I want to start my day? Right? And maybe before, I was just like, I love music, and I'm just like, put on my start my playlist, just like go with it, kind of rock with it as I get ready. And then something changed of, well, what are they saying? What are they talking about? How does this make me feel? Right? And how do I want to feel? And so then saying, okay, I need to create something that is set for me to feel, that like starts me off the way that I want to feel, and only accepting that. And that's a whole talk in itself, okay? You have to know what you want to really only accept what you want, right? And so thank you. A couple years ago, I realized that, and I started kind of curating playlists, right? And then those playlists actually started letting me see that the sound wasn't something that was just for a mix on the radio, right? Or a mix on in my AirPods, but it was also that same foundation that led to what kind of conversations am I having, right? Because how I start my day sets me up for success, right? For me, how I start my day sets me up for success. So for me, fun tip, I listen to a song almost every morning by Londrell. It's called Gratitude, and it's about gratitude being the attitude. Outside of I do my sound bowls in the morning, but I also listen to that to just be reminded that how do I create a culture of gratitude as I go throughout my day? And in that space, that helps me be able to choose more effectively what music around me am I liking, what am I not liking, because I've set my foundational vibration, and then I'm aware when that starts to change in spaces and in places, and I just keep choosing what I want to see, which in turns has made me my water more still, right? Has made my water more still. And so now, because I've held on to that space longer, I'm more aware when something goes outside of that, and I'm like, no, I don't want it, or yes, that was really, really good, I'm gonna keep it. So I would say it was maybe about 3 or 4 years ago that I really started leaning in, and it really changed my life. It changed my life way more than just what you think of the auditory sense of something coming to you. I started to realize that it has an impact on everything around me, and everything is sound, everything is music, everything is vibration, yeah?
I was going to ask you what you listened to this morning.
Yeah, you heard me say, I started, and I played my vocals before I came, because I said I want to reset my vibration before I get into the space. But that's the beautiful part of it, is that we're continually getting options and chances to reset, right? Like, you don't have to let your emotions pull you and sway you and say, oh, well, my day started poorly, so now I've just got to have a bad day the rest of my day, right? Be your own sound bowl, reset yourself, right? Use words of affirmation, that is sound, right? That is sound. I am whole, I am happy, I can have a beautiful day. The beginning of my day may have started poorly, because we want to acknowledge the reality, right? The beginning of my day may have started poorly, but I am the creator in my life, and I will create a day that is pleasing to me. And today I want to be happy, therefore today I will be, right? That is all actually sound that just came, and words that came. How are you using sound and words to retrain your mind? Affirmations, y'all. If you do not do affirmations, I highly suggest it. I can almost guarantee you it will revolutionize your life. But don't trust me, just try it. Try it. Hashtag trust me. That's the whole thing about ethos, trustworthiness, right? But in this, give it a try. It's worked for me, and I think it may work for you. choose, and if you are friends with me, you know I have said this in real life, choose a couple of affirmations. You can find a video, you can find something online, come see me in a moment or hit me up. I'm always here to find a couple of affirmations that, one, feel really good to you, and a couple of affirmations that feel a little bit hard for you, right? And you'll notice it when you hear it, because I didn't really call it out, but I'm sure as I was going through some of those affirmations, someone was thinking, am I whole? I've been trying to figure that out for a long time. Right? Somebody had an emotional reaction to hearing that come, right? That's the exact affirmation you need to keep doing. That's the exact one you need to keep saying. I am whole, I am worthy, I am enough. I am capable of greatness. All that I want to see, I can be. Things are happening for me, not solely to me. I have the power to choose what I want to see in my life. Right? It's important to say that so you can retrain your mind, because it may not be sound that comes out, but it is sound that's inside of your head. It's in sound that's in your mind, and you have 1,000 thoughts in a blink of an eye. Start choosing your thoughts. Start being intentional about the sounds that you put inside of you, not just the sounds that come out of you. Yeah? Yeah, anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Yeah? Thank you so much for your time. And as you heard, there are multiple sound healing opportunities here in town. I was fortunate enough to go a couple of weeks ago, and it was amazing. This is a small portion of what you get when you go inside of something like a sound bath for an intense period of time to really reset that vibration. And I do highly encourage you, if you've never played a sound bowl and you're wondering what that's like and how you can immediately feel something from it, not just emotionally, physically, you can immediately feel something from it, please, 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 do take advantage of this moment. Choose you, choose your exploration. And as you are going out and about and talking about how to use music as your muse, right? The point of inspiration in your life, create things that inspire you, create things that build you up, create things that you, that put a smile on your face and put a smile in your heart. And if it doesn't do that, be willing to say no. And I have a little acronym that I use for me, and it's just dance, right? Just dance. And that goes, what are you generally dancing to? You're dancing to music, right? Just dance. And in that, it's stay in a state of discovery, right? Stay in a state of discovery. A is stay in a sense of heightened awareness, right? We talked about how awareness can actually lead to empowerment. N is be willing to say no. What are you saying no to so that you can say yes? C is celebration. Always be celebrating. That's that space of gratitude. Always be celebrating the things that you like around you so that comes to you more. And E is evaluate. Evaluate what's working, what's not working, and then do it all over again. Just keep dancing to the rhythm, to the sound of your own heart. Let it impact your ethos in a positive way, yet you get to determine what is positive for me. Not Plato. You get to determine what is positive for me in this moment. What would bring me joy? When in doubt and you need to reset a moment, become your own sound bowl. Introduce a new heavier vibration by just humming on a note, any note, and I can almost guarantee you it will bring a new sense of awareness almost immediately. Thank you so much for your time, your effort, your energy in the space that we were able to share this moment together. My heart certainly is full. Thank you.